So good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session of RPA Learning Series. And today's is session 4. And Srajan will be leading today's session. And today's topic will be understanding debugging. And Srajan is a student developer champion from Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Technology for Handicapped from Kanpur. So without further ado, I invite Srajan to take over. Srajan.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to lead this session. So today's is session number 4 of this global session series conducted by the champions. So I am fortunate enough to lead this session. Thank you so much, Shikhar sir and Ghanshyam sir, for giving me this opportunity. So hello guys, how are you all? Are you guys able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
Okay, good evening. So I think you guys are able to unmute. So we guys will be keep this session interactive. So boring nahi hoga. We will keep it interactive. Guys, just tell me like in which language you guys are more comfortable. Is it Hindi or English? So
English, ma'am.
okay, it is English. So I'll just keep this in both the languages, Hindi and English. So it will be more comfortable. So right. So let's start the session. Let me share my screen. You guys are can tell if in the middle if any issue is there like voice lagging or anything else, you guys can unmute yourself and tell me. Okay. Sir, can I share my screen? Hello.
Yes, Roshan.
Okay, sharing. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, sir. So today's is session 4, which is understand debugging and exception handling. So till now, you guys have got the basic understanding of like what UiPath does, what actually RPA is, and like in the session 1, 2, and 3, you guys have understood those things. तो आप लोगों को पता है ना what is UiPath? कोई मुझे बता सकता है? Anyone who has attended the previous sessions? Hello. Okay, so let's continue. तो आज हम लोग क्या सीखने वाले हैं? What the today's topic is understanding debugging and exception handling. So सबसे पहले मैं बता देती हूँ who I am about the speaker. Like I am an upcoming intern at Microsoft. Along with this, I am the UiPath Student Developer Champion, and I have conducted the workshop in my college and open source lead at GDSC. Along with this, I am the Google Cloud Facilitator. So this is all about what I am. I have conducted so many events in my college, as I am a part of so many communities, and I love joining communities, talking to people. So this is a quick overview about me. So like guys, openplenty.com, I have prepared some questions for you to keep it interactive. Let me just share my screen. I think it is visible. So just give me a second. Okay, so here it is. Yeah. So you guys can open menti.com and I'm just showing you the code. So here it is, which is 2147. And let's see. 21475391. You guys can enter. Hello. Shrikar sir, am I audible?
Yes, Rajan, you are. I've
Okay.
just dropped the code in the chat, so it's okay.
Okay, so please enter the code 21475391. I am just curious to know about like where are you from, guys? So I think we are just 17 or 18 people joining in. Please do it fast. USA is one of the answer. Singapore. Great. We are joining from the diverse of the countries. It's great. There's so much diversity. Okay, so let's move to the next. We will not. Okay, India. Kanyakumari. Wow. South Africa. Chennai. Great. Okay, so let's move to the next. How excited are you for today's session? Are you guys able to see this on your screen? We are just going to start the learning like debugging and exception handling. We are covering both the topics in today's session. But before that, let's make it interactive. Like to explore new. Great answer. Curious to learn more. Wow. Anyone else who is typing? Understand debugging. Yeah, we are going to understand it. Very excited to learn exception handling, I guess. Okay. So I think it's over now. Okay, you guys are great. Thank you for the answers. So let's continue. I think some guys are answering exception handling. Okay. So let's continue. So what we are going to cover in today's session, let's see that first. What is today's agenda? So I have added some new topics also, which is automation first mindset and evaluating automation candidates. And after that, we will move on to the main topics, which is debugging, best practices, and exception handling. So what actually is this term automation first mindset like talk about? So let's move to that first. So let's understand a scenario. You are working in an industry, like after an year or two, you are just going to get a job and work in the actual industries, how the main scalable projects, main scalable automation like build, कैसे बनाए जाते हैं सारे automations. You are going to build that automations in the real industries. In that time, what actually matters is like automation first mindset. You are going in the industry, so you will have that mindset. What a task should be automated? You are working day and night. You are doing so many projects. You are doing so many works in the industries. So you should have that much clear understanding. Like if you have some task, then is there any chance to automate that? Automation first mindset says like we envisage. Let me just slide show it. Okay. Is it visible? Hello.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Automation first mindset. So we envision a work world where automation first is the first thought. When an employee needs help to accomplish a task or improve a work process, the first question will be, how can I automate this task? So if you are learning automation, so this is the first thing which you should develop, like automation first mindset. You should have that much clear understanding of if you are working some, if you are doing some work, is it repetitive? If it is repetitive, then there should definitely an automation for that particular work, right? Rather than trying to execute all work manually. So मतलब अगर हम automation सीख रहे हैं, so मतलब हम क्यों सीख रहे हैं? तो अगर हमारे पास कोई काम है, if you are just doing that work manually, then there is no need to learn automation. So अगर आपके पास कोई काम है, then you should have that much clear understanding कि आपको वो काम कैसे automate कर सकते हैं, right? So this is all about like automation first mindset was the automation first three-pronged approach. This is topic. It's a robot for every person. Like who has heard the name of Bill Gates? You guys can respond. Let me open up the chat. Myself. Okay. So Bill Gates, like there was an envision of Bill Gates, like for every desktop there should have a PC. Who has heard about that? Okay, so a robot for every person means like there's like same as the Bill Gates was there was an envision of Bill Gates. For every desktop there should be a PC. For every desktop there should be a PC. Same as for every person there should be a robot, right? And open and free collaboration. And robots learn skills, like if you are you have built some robot, then time to time the robot start learning skills on the basis of on the basis of experiences, right? So these are some automation first three-pronged approaches. um, uh, so I have discussed about like if you are going in industry and you are seeing so many works, so which work should be automated? So there are some evaluating factors, like you have a work, you are thinking to automate it. So there are some evaluating factors which you should keep in mind before evaluating it, before start building the automation, right? So what makes a process a good candidate for automation? Like if you have some work, then what are the factors which you are considering to start building the automation? Like process fitness and automation complexity. Don't think too much. I'm just going to explain it in a layman language. So just keep with me. Process fitness and automation complexity. These are two terms which I'm going to explain in the further slides. Process fitness. Okay. So first is rule based. Like if you have some work, then what are the factors which you will keep in mind before starting to build the automation? The first one, which is rule based. The work is rule based. Like you prepare the tea. The work is rule based. You start like adding the tea, adding the water, adding the tea leaves, adding the sugar, adding the milk, and after that some boil for some time. So there are some particular rules which is defined for that particular task, right? So if the task is rule based, then definitely the task can be automated. Is it clear to everyone till now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Next, which is automable and or repetitive process. The next term which we should keep in mind is automable or repetitive process. If the process is repetitive, then only we are going to build the automation for that particular process. And if the process is like in the whole day, the work is going to happen only at once. Like you take bath, like maybe you have tea. So the work which is happening only at once in the particular day. So the task there is no need for automation. So the task can be automated automatically. and stable. Stable, like there's no changes. Just a second. Hello.
You are audible, Srajan. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So last point was stable. So if the work is stable, like the process is not going to change uh, continuously, so that work should be automated. So these are some factors which you should keep in mind before starting to build the automation for any process. Process fitness. Is it clear to everyone till now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Thank you. Automation complexity. This is the next topic, like automation complexity. If you are thinking to automate any particular task, then how complex that particular automation will be, or how complex it will be to build their automation. We can say like that. So there are some factors, which is number of screens, types of application, like you have, if you have built any automation, so you have seen like use application browser activity. So you use that particular application, you use that particular browser, Excel automation, PDF automation. So these are some like how many which type of applications you are using to build that particular automation. So there are some factors which you should keep in mind. Business logic scenarios types. I will not give much time on these particular topics because I'm just coming up on the main, which is debugging. So types and number of inputs, how many number of inputs are there in your process? Okay. So now it's the time which is debugging, for debugging. So before we start debugging, let's understand first what is bug, what actually the bug is. Is there anyone to answer? कोई मतलब अपना माइक अनम्यूट करके कोई बोलना चाहता है? इज देयर एनीवन? वैसे तो लिखा ही हुआ है. हेलो. Hello sir, am I audible?
Yes, Srajan, you are audible. People
Okay.
are dropping their answer in the chat. You may check it.
Okay sir, okay. Thank you sir. If the system doesn't act as per rule, right, Nanda Gopal. Okay. Saritha, error, it's an error. Okay. So you guys are right. What is a bug? Actually, like if you build an automation, like अगर हम कोई programming language में भी कुछ काम करते हैं, then there are so many of bugs. Bugs is something which is which we can define as error. An error in the computer program is called bug. It's a very straightforward definition which you can read on the screen also. There's another definition when the program or the project doesn't behave the way it is expected to behave, right? मतलब you have made the program for PDF automation and it is not behaving the way you want. So there is something in the program which is called bug. There is some bug in your program, right? So I think it's more than enough for this. Let's move to next. What is debugging? What is debugging? So this is the main topic of today's. In UI path, let me read the context first, which is written on the screen. In UI path, debugging refers to the process of identifying and fixing errors or issues in a workflow or automation. When you debug a project in UI path, you are stepping through the workflow and observing the values of variables and activities. So if you guys have worked in any other programming language, then you have definitely come through that word, which is debugging. Debugging is something like think a scenario. You are building a project, right? You are building a building an automation in UiPath Studio or Studio X, any platform which you use. And debugging is like there is an error in your like there is a variable जिसकी value आपको मतलब you want the value of that variable to be something else, and the value of variable is coming something else. So how you will like there is a bug, definitely you have understood, like there is a आपको समझ आ गया कि आपका प्रोग्राम तब behave मतलब जैसा behave करना चाहिए था, it is not behaving the way. तो अब आपको debug करना है, तो आपको उस प्रॉब्लम को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, उस बग को, एंड यू विल हैव टू debug दैट. सो debugging इज अ प्रोसेस. उस वेरिएबल की वैल्यू कहाँ गलत हो रही है, which activity is not performing the way it should. So you will have to debug in a way. There are some points to debug the particular program, which I am just coming up. You are stepping through the workflow and observing the values as written in the screen. Is it going too fast? Hello.
Yeah, bit.
Okay, let me switch. So इतना clear हुआ अभी तक जितना मैंने बताया? Is it clear to everyone what actually the bug is? What is the process of debugging? Why we use debugging? Okay, there are some chat.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, okay, it's clear. Thank you. Let's move to the debugging panels. What are the main components of debugging panels? The first one, which is locals. Let me just open up my UiPath Studio so it will be more clear to everyone where this locals is. It's taking some time, so let's wait.
Close your background apps, Rajan. If there are any other apps, try to close them so that things would get better.
Okay, sir. Just wait. Is it clear? Is it visible to everyone? UiPath Studio.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So let me open up any of the project automation. Okay, let's open it to understand the debugging panels. Finally, it is loaded. Open main workflow. It's taking a bit more time. Hello. So this is a project for RPA challenge, the automation which I have built for RPA challenge. Is it visible? It's open in my laptop. Okay. So see guys, uh, I was discussing about locals, right? Let's see. In the debugging panels, there's the first component which is locals. So let's see how we can start the debugging process in my project. So as here you can see in my cursor, debug file. So there are three options: run file, debug, and run. So what is the meaning of these three things? A run file is something which runs the particular file. Like there is a main file. If along with this main file there will some another files, then it will start to run that particular file. And if we will run, then it will start the project from the main file. Right. So these are basic two difference around them: run file and run. And if I will debug the process, then let's see the if I'll debug, then what will happen. So I've clicked on debug. Hello. See guys, there is a locals, watch, and immediate. These are three panels which I created when I clicked on debug. I think there is some background noise. Please mute yourself if there is any. Sir, am I audible? You guys can respond. How to select and open the file in the UiPath screen. Oh, okay. So you can open the file from here, like go to the home, and actually the file is open. So I'll just show you after that, after this debugging panels. So just see here is the locals panel. You guys can see. So what is the main work of this locals? When you debug your project, then the variables which are used in your automation, in your project automation. All the values of that variables will be like displayed in that particular local panel. Let's see the definition which is written here. Know everything about the process. So it is same as okay. So it is same as like if you are local to any city, if you are local to any uh, I'm local to Hathras, so I will be expected to know everything about Hathras, right? If you will just come and visit my city, so you will expect like मुझे मतलब उस सिटी के बारे में सब कुछ पता होना चाहिए if I am local to that particular city, right? So same logic applies here. If so this local panels is going to know everything about variables in your project, right? So is it clear? Hello. I am not able to see any interactivity with the audience. Yeah, yes, okay. Some guys are interactive. Thank you guys. Okay, so let's move to the next which is watch. Okay, so here is the watch panel. Are you guys able to see watch panel where my cursor is moving? Okay, so what is the main work of this watch panel? Is there anyone who can tell me? कोई मुझे बता सकता है what is the main work of this watch panel or should I ask to someone? No worries, I'll not ask anyone. चलो पढ़ते हैं. What is the main work of watch? Like, think about a scenario. You are in your home and your mother is just going outside, and she said to you, like, just keep an eye on the milk. Like, the milk is boiling, and you are said that keep an eye on the milk, and when the milk boils, just turn off the gas. Okay, so this is the main work which I've given to you by your mother. So what you are doing there, you are just watching the milk until and unless it boils, and just turn off the gas when it completely boils. Okay. So the same logic applies here. Watch is the panel which is keeping an eye on particular variable, and it can detect each and every changing state of that particular variable. अगर कुछ भी छोटा सा भी change होता है, if you are watching that watching the milk or watching the variable, so you can detect each and every changing state of that particular variable, right? So I think this is something which is very layman language. I'm trying to make you understand. Watch a particular variable or argument, as you can see here. Next, which is immediate. I think debug is process is done, so I'm starting the debugging again. After breaking, like putting any breakpoint. Let's put the breakpoint. So let's start the debug. So here is the immediate panel. Immediate is something check value or run expression. It means if you just want to see the immediate change of any variable, like the process is running, and if you guys are curious to know any value of any particular variable, so you will just keep that variable name into the immediate panel, and you will see the value of that particular variable. Let me just sheet 1. If I am just curious to know the value of sheet 1, you guys can see here. As in my variables, there is a variable. I'm not going to walk you through about what is variable and how I have created this, because you guys are already know about that things. Sheet 1, right? So immediate is something we can also say it watch, right? Then may I know the difference between watch and immediate? Okay, so if you guys haven't put it on the watch, like if you want to see the immediate change of any variable, watch is something. Suppose में पहले से variable की value मतलब variable का name put करना होगा. You will have to put the name of that particular variable. But if you want to see the immediate change of that any variable, then definitely you are going to use the immediate panel. Can we change the name of sheet 1? Yes, you can. But what is the use? Let me show you. Here is the sheet 1 variable. Sheet 1 is not a variable. There is a DT1, which is a data table variable. You can change the sheet 1 name also. There's no. Okay. So breakpoints. What are breakpoints? Stop workflow at particular point. Let me show you. I have put a breakpoint here. You guys can see. So what is the main use of breakpoint? Like if you want to run a particular workflow or to that particular point, then you will just keep a breakpoint. It means your workflow is going to run until that point hits, and after that start like step into step over. There are some activities here. Step into is something like think. If you guys have used one activity which is invoke workflow file, there is an activity invoke workflow file which is used to invoke any other file to your main workflow. Or let me show you. If I will create a okay, let me stop the debug process and show you. So let's create a new sequence. Name it as sequence only. So here main, and along with this there's a sequence which is named as sequence. So I'm just dropping an activity. Type into. Okay. So there's an activity, right? Or we can use some other also. Let me keep it as simple. Message box. Okay. Yes. So here is a message box. I can give the message you are awesome. Okay. So here is a simple message. Let's keep it in the double quotes. Oh, what is the error? Right. So just save this workflow. And in the main sequence, okay, let me create another one. There's another sequence, sequence one, create it, because I'm not going to change anything in the main file. There's another message box. Okay, keep it as simple. Okay. Save it also. And if you are going to invoke any another file into this, like I'm adding an activity which is invoke workflow file. Invoke workflow file, and I am adding. And just giving the path which file you are indicating. This sequence. Okay, so I am giving the path of sequence. Open it. So here you have invoked a file. In the sequence one, you have invoked the sequence file, right? You can say it. Let's save it. So if you will debug this sequence one, if you will debug this sequence one, let me start debugging process. Okay, so it has started. Hello guys, the first message box which is showing. Okay, so now it is showing the second message box. You are awesome. Okay, I forgot to toggle the breakpoints. Oh, sorry for that. I'm just adding the breakpoints here. So run from this activity. There is an option run from this activity. I'm running. And if I will use that option run from this activity, then it will start the debug process. So yeah, you guys can see step into, step over, and step out. These are three basic points. So step into is something like if you will like, let me just show, continue here. So message box, it should display a message. Yeah, hello guys. It is displaying the message, and after that it should invoke workflow. Like if I am I'm invoking any workflow file from any other file, then it will start executing it line by line. If I will use a step into activity, I'm not sure why it is not. I think there is only one activity in the sequence also. That's That's the main reason it is like showing directly. So if there are many activities in that sequence file, then it will start executing it line by line. If I will use a step into, and if I will use step out, then it will start like just highlighting this one, and after that it will highlight the second activity, and it will start executing that one. So that's the main difference between step into and a step out. Is it clear to everyone till now? Let me so let's move to the next output panel. Logs, write lines, processing, trace, etc. So let's see the output. Okay, let's start the debug again. Debugging is very powerful tool. You can definitely try it out on your project. Let me just debug it again. So this is the output panel. So all your logs messages and write lines and processing trace are shown in the output panel. Like let me show you the activity. There is an activity which is called a log message. I will come I'll come later on that particular log message because in the best practices topic. So let's leave it here. Okay, where the output gone? Okay, here it is. So output, like all your log messages, all your processing trace are shown in that output panel. I'll show you in the upcoming slides. Call stack. There is call stack show the hierarchy of your current execution. Like there are many activities in your project. There is a read range workbook. There is a use browser activity. Okay, let me close it. Yeah, there is a read range workbook which is just ranging the like Excel file. This is a project for RPA challenge. If you guys have made it, use browser edge. Like you are opening the browser. So there are many activities in your project. So call stack is some like see, here is a read range main sequence. So call stack is the place where you will see the hierarchy of your activities. After which activity is going to use. So this hierarchy is definitely help the developers to see like where the process is lagging, where the process is मतलब कहाँ हमारी where we are lacking. So this call stack definitely helps the developer to debug their projects, debug their automations. There are breakpoints which I have told you. Message box, I think in the sequence one it is, yeah, message box. There's a breakpoint. The read range, I think here is also a breakpoint. Yeah. So all your breakpoints are shown in that breakpoint panel. Right. I think it's clear to everyone. Let's move to the next. So here, is there anyone who can tell me about what is the difference between call stack and output panel? I explained right now. Oh, hello, sir. Am I audible? Call stack shows the hierarchy. Okay, Saritha, you are right. And I'm just curious to know about the differences between the call stack and output panel. Like output panel shows the log messages. Call stack shows the hierarchy of all your activities. Okay, so I think now it is clear. No worries. Let's move to the next part, which is best practices. Logging is one of the like very useful best practice. If you use if you use it in your project, then definitely it is very easy to debug your processes. So let's see how we can use it. Stop it here. So yes, Google all the breakpoints because I'm not going to debug it again. Okay. So as I'm just going to add an activity which is log message. So there are 5 types of log messages which you can add in your project: fatal, error, warn, info, and trace. Okay, so I'm just going to add an info log message. So message is the project has started. Okay, and in the end, I'm just going to add another log message which says the project process has ended. Okay, so I'm just going to add it here. Log message. It is going to be the info log message and the process. Okay. Yeah. The process has ended. I think it has lagged. Okay, it has closed. I think I should open it again. Oh, there's some technical issue, I guess. So I'm just opening it again, waiting for space. Okay, let's open the main workflow. So yes, see here. Open. Okay, so let's open the log message here. Let it be info log message, and the message is the process has started. Okay, and at the end, add another log message. Okay, let it be the info log message, and the process has ended. Okay, so there are 2 log messages which I have added here. I think I should keep it simple because it will open the browser and all the things. Okay, let me create a sequence and I'll show you by adding all the messages. Okay. Yeah, it is here. Okay. So are you guys able to see what I have done here? I have added one log message. After that, I have added a message box. After that, I have again added a log message. So let's save this file and run it. Run file. So yeah, I'm just going to run that particular file, not the main sequence again. It's compiling. Let's see the okay, here is the message box. Hello guys, you are awesome. And let's see where the log messages are. Okay, so see, here are the log messages. The project has started, the project has ended. And you guys can also like add some activities which is for break, like for adding some time. Like after that particular activity, there should be a break after this in between both the activities. So the time will show up here. My first automation execution ended in here, where my cursor is 10 seconds. 10 seconds, right? Okay, so this execution has taken the time for 10 seconds. Okay, so let's see the second best practice, which is activities naming convention. So let's see it quick. Like there's a log message. Okay, so I can change the name of that particular activity here. Just click and see start log message. After that, for that particular message box, I can just change it to as okay, there's some, can we extend and modify that time? Yes, you can, by adding some activities. Okay, let me just do it. Message box. I can change it as, okay, let's take it as text box. A greet message. Okay, it will be a greet message. Greet message. Okay. Log message and log message. So what is the main use of these naming conventions? Uh, as we are discussing here about the best practices. So if you will just give the name to each and every activity, then it is going to help you in future. Like if you will see your project in the upcoming future, then you are going to understand it like which activity was used for which purpose. Like you have used many activities in your project. So like if you are adding 10 message box, you are adding 20 log messages. If you are building a complex automation, then if you will name each and every activity according to its use, then it is going to help you to understand it in the future and debug it also, right? So this is the very useful best practice which you should always use in your projects. Okay, so I think it's clear to everyone. The third best practice is annotation and comments. Let me see the chat. How is it? Okay, we will discuss it in later. Hello guys. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So the third best practice, which is annotations and comments. Okay, so let's discuss it quick. Annotations and comments. Like if you, let me see the chat. Okay, yes. So if you code in any other programming language, then you guys have heard about the term comments. Anyone here who knows about what is the main use of comments? You guys can chat or unmute yourself also to be it interactive. Yes. I think was previous years. Okay, right. So let me explain it. For every activity, like if you will just right click here, there's an option annotation, add annotation. So I am showing you how to add it. But what is the main use of it? As I have said previously, if you will open your project in future, then there are high chance that you are not going to understand every activity, why you used it, why you used it previous, यानी कि आप why आपने क्यों use किया था किसी activity को in your project. So it is always a better idea, it is always a good idea to uh, to add comments in every activity, so it will be clear to you like what is the main purpose of using that activity. So I am adding any comments this activity uh, is used here for the starting log message. This is the simple annotation. You can use any annotation based on your requirements. Okay, so I have used this annotation, and where this annotation is showing here, this activity is used here for starting log message, right? So this is the uh, very handy if you will start using annotations and comments to debug your process also, like which where your program, where your project is lacking. So you can definitely do it in a very quick way. So I'm just adding annotations to each and every activity. Here, greet message. Okay, let me add an annotation so you guys can see it. Greet message. So this is the simple greet message to our users. Okay, let it be simple. Yeah. And for the end log message, let me add an annotation. This is the end log message. You can add any annotation based on your requirements. I'm just adding this mine. Okay, so now it's like looking much more better than previous. So here are some annotations which I have added here. Okay, is it clear? Is there any doubt how I used annotation? What is the use of it? Anything? To add text visible comments to add an activity. Okay. I'm giving you 2 minutes, like what I have discussed earlier, and like for comments, best practices. If there is any doubt, you guys can definitely discuss about. There are 64 participants, but I think, is it clear to everyone? Okay. Yes. Let's move. Let's continue to our next statement, which is variables and arguments naming convention. This is another best practice example. Do next. Okay. So variables and arguments naming convention. Okay. So let's see it. This is the variables panel. So what this statement says, here it is, if you create any variable, if you create any argument in your project, then there should be a naming convention. There should be a naming convention for your variables. Like if you are creating a data table, then you should keep it as tt underscore marks. If you are creating any integer variable, then you should keep it as integer underscore marks. If you are creating any string, then keep it as string str underscore marks. So let's create some variables here. like create variable. There's a shortcut also, Control plus K, which you can use to create the variables in your project. So let me create a like str underscore. Like I'm not going to show every variable name here because the lack of time. So string str. So you guys can see they are string, boolean, integer, object, data table. There are number of variables which you guys use in your project. So there should be a naming convention to like recognize the variable and the start. Is it string? Is it integer? Is it boolean? Is it data table? For data table, you can use dt underscore. So these are some examples of best practices for variables and argument naming conventions. And let me just see argue for arguments. You can use like let me create one in underscore answer. So there are three directions: in, out, and in, out. So let me show you here. For in direction, use in underscore. For out direction, use out underscore. For in out direction, use IO underscore. Okay. So these are three things. Identification. Next is identification of reusable workflow. This is the last best practice example. What this statement says: identification of reusable workflow. It means in the like if you use any programming language, then you heard about that term dry. Do not repeat yourself, right? Like if you have the capability of like creating the workflows which we can reuse in our project. Like in the C++, you create the functions, right? You create the functions to make it reusable, to make it like to use it as a reusable component. In the main function, you call the functions which you have made earlier, right? So identification of reusable workflow. In the main sequence, you can use sequence 2. And in sequence 2 is created only once. You can use it as many number of times as you want. So this is the example of best practice. So here it ends. Any question, guys? Shrikar sir,
Yes, Rajan.
am I audible?
Yes, 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 you are.
So it's and like if there are any questions, then the guys can ask.
So participants, like, yeah, there is a question from Sarita in the chat, Srajan. It says, can you explain the difference between immediate and watch panel once again, please?
Okay. So see Sartha here, I'm just debugging this process. Okay, I'm just going to explain you here. See, like there is a variable named as a. Okay, like integer a is like there's a variable, and it is the type of integer variable. Congratulations. Okay, the output was working. Integer A, and the value of integer integer A is increasing every time. Okay, like A plus plus. I'm not using the syntax of UiPath, C++ or VB.NET. .NET. I'm using the syntax of C. Okay, integer A and A plus plus. So if you consider the watch panel, then what watch panel is doing, if you have put the variable name A in the watch panel, and the value of A is like 0 at the start. So watch panel is keeping each and every changing state of A. Like A is, I think I should keep it as okay. So this statement is running how many times? 10 times. From 0 to 10. This integer I a equal to 0 and A plus plus. So this is running how many times? 10 times. So A is changing from 0 to 10, right? So in the watch panel, you will see the changing state of every time you will see the change in the A, as well as if you will see the like immediate panel, then if at any state, if it at any point you are just curious to know about the value of A, like at this point what is the value of, and you have forgotten to put it in the watch panel, the debugging process is continuing. So at that time you can just put the value of you can just put the variable name A in the immediate panel to know the value of that variable at that particular point immediately, right? So I think it should be clear. Hello. Okay. Any other question? Hello, sir.
Yes, Rajan, I don't think I see any more questions in the chat as well.
Okay, sir. So I think no, that's all from my side.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much, guys, for attending the session.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks. Thanks for connecting the session here.
Well, it has been a great session from your end, Rajan, and I hope our audience has very well received you and understood about the debugging concepts as well as the exception handling thing. Please stay tuned to our updates. There will be more learning sessions coming up in the month of March and as well as in the month of April. Thank you for attending this session, and we hope to see you all in the upcoming session and learn more about RPA. Do keep spreading the word around it. Have a nice day.